Hello everybody, welcome back once again. I've got another Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster guide for you here. I kind of was inspired by one of the commenters on one of the videos to do this one, and I honestly should have done this quite a while back. I and I probably should have wrote a lot of this stuff down while I was actually playing because I'm actually ironically super rusty already after only having not played for a month or two. So again, should have done it while it was all still fresh. But anyways, so we're going to be talking, Veldt the whole way through here, and mostly a lot of this stuff is going to be Veldt pack manipulation. I think that a lot of this stuff is really important for a couple of specific areas in the game. And also on top of that, I think very very important for more like your perfect stats guides. This is almost entirely irrelevant if you're not worried about stuff like that. But yeah, I just think that there's a couple of play types where I think that it's actually really important to do this kind of stuff. There also, I suppose, is some pretty interesting things I'm going to try to throw in here for the people that I just want to farm things, I think, a little bit more efficiently. So there will be some info for people like that. But all right, let's get started. We're obviously with the Pixel Remaster here. A couple of things are just a little bit different, and one of those is whenever you use a save or a quick save right before one of these packs. So let's just say you quick save right before pack one, and then you fight pack one, and you don't. Let's just say that you don't get the formation that you wanted to see. You can actually just reset your game and reload, or get yourself wiped, which is actually a little bit easier and faster. But you can wipe and then try to get into a battle again, and it will be pack one again. And so that's kind of one of the nice things about the Veldt is that, and honestly, that's great for if you're looking for a specific formation here that that you've got and you want to see it. For instance, to teach Gao a specific rage. So it's just a little bit easier to do that specifically. But all right, so let's talk pack one. So the Silver Lobo by itself, you really want to pass this. This is completely redundant. For one thing, it's a default rage, and the Silver Lobo is actually the single is actually kind of tough to get if you're. It's basically right at the beginning of the game. And if you go off to the right-hand side, the guards will send a Silver Lobo after you. But that's actually really easy to miss that. The Silver Lobo times 2. This is also, it's redundant because of the fact that it's a default rage. But I don't really like to see this anyway. And so it's basically a chest inside the Adventurer School, and if you want to get all of the chests opened for the achievement, then you'll probably need to do that. But you might as well just save it until the very end of the game, and then that way we never see them on the Veldt. The guard times 2 is forced. There's just unfortunately no way around that. Also, I should say the Silver Lobo times 2, not only is it a chest, but it's also sort of a forced fight, but it's not. It can be avoided. Basically, there's a little bit of a crossroads on the way at the beginning of the game where you're heading towards the mine, and if you step one tile over to the right and then you go up and then back to the left, you can actually avoid that fight. Basically, it's 2 Silver Lobos that the guards send after you, and then the guards jump in and do the fight later. But the 2 guards is actually a forced fight, and there's no way to avoid that one. But anyways, all right, so let's move on here. So the Fulper times 2 and Uruk. This is a battle that you need to do if you want to get a full rage guide. This is the first trip to Figaro Cave. These are missable, though. So if you again, want to get a full rage list, you will need to meet that formation there. And I recommend taking this one. Some of the other ones are a little bit redundant. So next we've got the Silver Lobo times 2 and the Guard Leader. This is completely forced. This is one of the early boss battles, and there's just no way to avoid this, which is also kind of a good thing because the Guard Leader is one of the best rages in the game. The rest of these, I would say to just avoid these. These are completely redundant. The Hornet times 2, Fulper times 3. That's again, this the first trip through the South Figaro cave, but the Hornet is a default rage, so you never even need to run into that. And then again, the Fulper up here is redundant. So Leaf Bunny and Leaf Bunny times 2 and Darkwind, again, I would pass on these. These are completely redundant. The better formation to take here is the Leaf Bunny times 2, Darkwind times 2. Though, I say that, and here I noted, though, to take this before the World of Ruin transition. I don't recommend taking that, in the first trip down, right? This is basically these battles here, these 3 are right outside of Narsh. This one, though, is in the forested area. And again, I would say, though, to just to not take this quite yet. Basically, this entire pack, I want to cycle this and avoid everything in here. So again, I don't take this until I'm ready to go basically to the World of Ruin. And that's, again, only if I want to get a full rage list. That goes for the Sandray Alacrin times 3 as well. These rages, by the way, also aren't important enough, I would say, to merit, again, taking them. Again, I would just rather make sure to not take any of this stuff. Hornets, again, already been over that. That's the South Figaro Cave. And a default rage on top of that. The Were-Rat times 3, that's a default rage as well. So again, we don't need that. Sandray Alacrins, none of these are important enough to take immediately. Again, I take those before the transition. Hornet Uruk times 2, really the same thing as the, this is still the South Figaro Cave. Again, Fulper, Hornet, well, I should say Hornet, again, is redundant. That's a default rage. And we've already got Fulper Uruk up here. Gorgias times 2. This one is completely redundant. This is actually Mount Colts inside the cave areas. We don't need to do this. Megalodoth Silver Lobo is redundant as well. The catch, though, here is this is during the defending Terra inside the cave. But you can actually avoid all of those monsters if you just rush the guard leader. So again, completely redundant. Uruk times 3, again, we've already been over that. That's redundant. We take that in pack 1. Belmadar. Now, this one's interesting. You've got a choice here because the Belmadar by itself is actually 3 magic points. So that's pretty slick if you're trying to learn some magic early on in the game. I still usually don't end up doing this. I usually take like the Belmadar Unseelie Moo times 2 instead. But I actually don't take this, though, until we're ready to transition to the World of Ruin. That goes for the Greasemonk times 2 as well. I don't take these because I want this pack completely open. So usually when I'm farming, in the World of Balance, pack 2 and 3 just don't even show up. I go right from pack 1, I think, here into pack 4. Yeah. So anyways, all right, so let's move on here. So the Moo times 4, these are redundant as well because you'll eventually take the Moo here in this pack here. Let's see here. What else do we have? Imperial Soldier times 2 in Magic Armor. That's, I believe, a force battle inside Sabin's scenario. Nothing we can do about that. Bandit Spritzer, I take this before the transition. This one's just kind of a more efficient formation there. So again, just make sure that you grab that before heading into the World of Ruin if you want that full list. Magitech Armor single is also forced. That's a Sabin scenario battle. Trillium Gorgus Kirpius times 2. This is a very efficient formation because it's got obviously three different monsters in it. But I do not take this on my initial path through. So the reason for that is you do get a lot of, or you get a good amount of cash through here, but the Trilliums can poison you. And during the beginning of the game, especially early on, let's just say, you're in Sabin's scenario, and you're trying to learn some more rages with Gao, and you've really only got Cyan with you. Getting poisoned constantly is really obnoxious, and I would just rather, avoid the possibility of that happening. So I always take this, again, before the transition. And I also, the Trillium Rage itself is actually kind of decent. It's bio, but I just don't think it's needed enough to make it, it's not a must-have. at least on the first trip. So again, take that before the transition. The rest of the stuff is redundant. We don't need any of that. Zagrim times 2 is redundant because Zagrim is a default rage. Zagrim Trillium Spritzer is not only redundant, but also you can't get this. This is, as of right now anyway, this formation actually doesn't exist in the Pixel Remaster version. Magitech Armor times 2 is a force battle. That's the one running on the way to the cave with Terra, Locke, and Edgar. Lesser Lapros. These are pretty much, I think these are genuinely forced. This is the stuff on the river, and I think there's no way to avoid any of these 4 fights. So it's the Lesser Lapras times 2, and then anything with the Nautiloid, Exocite, unless, again, I think like literally all of those 4 battles are just going to end up being forced. So I'm not gonna bother talking about those much more. So Zombie Dragon times 2 also definitely pass on that. That's weirdly, this is a battle from the Sealed Cave, and I don't know why that ends up in Pack 5, but pass on that because it's completely redundant. We will have a better formation for that. Silver Lobo and Guard times 2. This is the forced pincer attack on the way to the Esper at the beginning of the game. Nothing we can do about that. Whereat Bandit is completely redundant. Same with the 2 Whereat formation. And then the Doberman times 2. You want to grab this. You want to kick the chest in the Imperial camp. It's 2 possible fights that will result from that, and one is the Doberman times 2, and the other one is the Doberman times 3. This is by far the better one to take. The one with the Doberman times 3 ends up being in the same pack as the Satellite, and you absolutely want to run into the Satellite every cycle. That is very important. So again, if you do kick that chest, make sure you get the Doberman times 2. Actinian times 3 is completely redundant. That's the Serpent Trench, and sometimes the Serpent Trench can be a little bit more difficult to get through without running into some of these obnoxious formations that you don't want. But it also doesn't really matter that much. Honestly, this pack is kind of garbage for farming purposes. So again, I think do what you want, but this one actually is redundant, and I would not take that. All right, so let's get working on pack 7. The Stray Cat times 3 is redundant. Also, you just don't need that. Nettle Hopper times 2, Stray Cat times 2. All right, so I need to do a very specific note here. Stray Cat is one of the best rages in the game, or if not the best rage, if we're talking about a physical build on Gao. Gao will just always use a physical while you're raging with the Stray Cat, which is, again, why this one is one of the best ones in the entire game. So the question here is, you can actually completely avoid all of Pack 7, at the beginning of the game, or I should say at least up until the World of Ruin. That can get you to cycle the Veldt faster, which I think is a good thing, and that's my recommendation actually, is to not take Stray Cat and any of these other formations here in Pack 7 until you're ready to transition into the World of Ruin. It sucks not having Stray Cat, but there's so many good rages anyway that it's fine. You're going to be just fine not taking that again until later. So again, I would say, don't take any of this stuff until you're ready to do the transition. Same thing with the Apiornis Chibi Rabbit. That's if you want to get a full rage list. The rest of this stuff is just redundant because there's just better ways to get this stuff. Same with Pack 8 here is a lot of the same enemies here on the way. Again, this is Sabin scenario, kind of on the way down towards the Imperial camp. Chibi Rabbit times 3, completely redundant because we're going to be taking it here. Apiornis, Stray Cat, Nettle Hopper, again, all redundant because of the 2 that I take here in Pack 7. And this is where it really pays off here. It's right here in Pack 8 with the Satellite. So keeping this completely empty of everything that's redundant makes it so that we'll run into the Satellite all the time. Satellite always drops a green beret. It's very, very important It's a great way to gain or generate cash at the beginning of the game. Actually, really up until the World of Ruin. I suppose well maybe that's a little not entirely. There's really good ways to generate gil towards the end of the World of Balance, but early on this is amazing. So again, very, very important to leave pack 8 completely empty except that satellite. Pack 9, heavy armor. This is redundant. We'll take the heavy armor in a different formation later. The ghost. All right, so the ghost this is another one of those kind of interesting ones. The single ghost by itself actually does give you a 3 MP. I think that's worthwhile. And then the ghost times 3. This is forced on the Phantom Train. It would have been nice to actually avoid this, but you really can't. Actually, you literally can't. Again, it's a forced Phantom Train fight. Actinian times 3, Aspirin times 2. This is probably the one formation that you actually want to take. Basically, the Serpent Trench is a series of, I think it's 4 battles, and there actually is a way to get all the way through by only getting into this formation. It may take you a couple resets, but it's possible, and I think it's worthwhile to do that, especially early. Ghost Popilium times 2. Again, this is redundant. There's going to be better ways to get that, which is right here. And that's the Ghost times 2, Popilium times 3. So take this before the World of Ruin. I would definitely recommend avoiding this, though, on your first trip through, because none of this stuff is that important. And again, you're going to be forced into taking the Ghost times 3 anyway. Ghost is a good rage, but again, that's you're forced into that one anyway. So, all right, here is the next one. This is actually on the Phantom Train itself, and I always take this one. This is the Angel Whisper times 2, and then the Cloud. There's some other, I should say. So the Angel Whisper itself is actually redundant because that is a default rage for Gal, but the Cloud is not. And so I would say you might as well take that if you want to get a full rage list. So the Bomb times 2, Cloud times 2, I would pass on that as well. That's redundant. Provoker times 2, Lich times 2. This is actually a sealed cave fight, so that's way later on in the game. But it's also redundant because there's a better formation with those monsters in it. Angel Whisper times 4, again, same thing. This is redundant. Oversoul by itself is redundant, and Bomb times 3. There's a couple of things here. So the Bomb times 2, Cloud times 2 would be a good, or is potentially a good formation. This is your choice, though. The question is, do you want a more dangerous fight or not? Bombs are dangerous. I mean, reality, and especially earlier on in the game, they're actually dangerous. And that's why I actually don't really like to take this formation. Again, I would rather take the safer Cloud Angel Whisper formation up here than the double Bomb and Cloud down here. But again, that's up to you. So the rest, again, the rest of the stuff is pretty redundant. Again, and same here with the Bomb times 3, really dangerous. This is the Bomb formation that I take. It's the single Bomb by itself. And then you've got the Oversoul Living Dead. Definitely take this. These are missable. Actually, everything on the Phantom Train is actually missable, but you really only need the Oversoul Living Dead and then the Cloud. Again, the bombs are actually accessible or obtainable in another spot, but I would take the single. All right, so pack 11. So we've got a lot of redundant stuff here. Angel Whisper, Living Dead, and Cloud times 2, and then Angel Whisper, Cloud times 3. And here I've got a note here. So this one is redundant, and I said that this would be worth more gil than pack 9, but we want Hell's Rider more often. So I would just not take this one. Anguiform and Anguiform times 2. I would say the same thing. I would pass on this stuff. These are actually redundant. The Anguiform pack that you want, or the one that you want to take, is this one here. But there's actually a way. Since we can get Actinian Aspirin, which by the way, the Aspirian is a really good rage. But we take this one up higher, and by avoiding the Anguiforms. Actually, by avoiding basically, what is this, formation 2, 3, and 6, that's going to make it so that we can run into Hell's Rider more often. So I definitely think that that's worthwhile because he's got a really good steal. So again, I would definitely at the very least avoid this one. I still think that, you know, I don't know, I would rather get rid of or not see Angloforms either. You know, partly again because of, again, I want to see Hell's Rider more often, but also Angloform is dangerous. They will oftentimes use Aqua Breath. So again, I would say, you know, avoid those. Also, so Megalodoth ×2, Guard ×2, this Force, there's nothing we can do about that. That's on the way to the, or at the beginning of the game. So here, Pack 12, Heavy Armor Corporal ×2, I take this. These are missable. Basically, well, the Heavy Armor is anyway, and this is during the mission to save Terra. The next one that I take is the Fidor Corporal, same reason this is missable. Angel Whisper solo, redundant. Corporal ×4 is also redundant. I mean, here's an obvious Corporal take anyway. Then you've got the Hunting Hound Corporal ×2, and you should take that as well. Again, this is still Terra, or saving Terra. Oh, I'm sorry, saving Bannon. Did I say saving Terra earlier? I meant saving Bannon from Kefka when Kefka attacks. Fossil Dragon, avoid this like the plague. Do not take that until you are ready to make the transition to the World of Ruin. Blood Fang, and basically the rest of the stuff is redundant as well, so pass on that stuff. Alright, so pack 13. These first 3 packs I take, but I wait until I'm ready to transition to the World of Ruin. And then the rest of this stuff I pass. And Hilgigas, same deal. I take this prior to the World of Ruin transition. But the thing with the Hilgigas is trying to avoid the solo Hilgigas, because this is a Zozo monster. Trying to avoid this is really difficult. You have to make it through the streets then without getting into any random encounters. And Zozo is a pain in the butt to try to get through. So it's really up to you on whether or not you stress, you know, getting the Hilgigas or not seeing it until, you know, right before the World of Ruin. Again, very much up to you, but if you do, then you can avoid pack 13 altogether. And Hilgigas actually is a little bit dangerous as well. It'll use magnitude 8 on you, though if you're floating, it shouldn't be a problem. And so if you're farming the Veldt, actually it is a good idea to be floating at all times, mostly because of him. All right, so pack 14, the Gobbledygook ×4 is completely redundant, so avoid that. Veil Dancer by itself, definitely pass on that. That is very dangerous. The Veil Dancer by itself will nuke the crap out of you. Whereas the Veil Dancer, Gobbledygook ×3, definitely take this in as early as you can. Veil Dancer is a great rage as well as the Gobbledygook. Solo Harvester is redundant. Veil Dancer Harvester ×2, definitely take that. Harvester, Gobbledygook, and Hilgigas Harvester, this is redundant stuff. The Mag Rotor solo purple is a forced minecart battle, and you need to take that as the first battle. It's not always, I think, the first battle. Sometimes I think you can get into a double purple, but you want, actually I should say, like, if you're trying to get perfect stats, you really want to take the solo purple first. So pack 15, this is Opera House. I pass on that one and take the Gotia ×2 and Stunner ×3. And then Crawler ×4, I don't even worry about that because that's World of Ruin. Most of the World of Ruin battles don't matter. Because once we get to the World of Ruin, after we've done our initial farming there, which I'll explain a little bit later, but again, just keep in mind that, in my opinion, most of the World of Ruin formations just don't really matter that much. So again, I'll talk about some more of that stuff later on, but you don't have to worry about this one. Belzeq ×2, Sergeant ×2, definitely take that. That's missable. That is in the Magtech research facility. But don't take the Belzeq Sergeant ×2 because it's redundant. Here's the Mag Rotor, the single purple Mag Rotor and the single Magna Rotor with the red. That's a forced fight again on the minecart, and that's the third battle that you'll see that. At least that's the one that you want to get it as. Trapper ×3 and General ×2, I would pass on both of those. That's redundant. General Onion Knight ×2, I take this one. I take the General and Onion Knight together. which means the Onion Knight times 4 is redundant. And then the Chaser Trapper times 3, you definitely want to take that one. There's 2 battles right after the minecart ride that you can get into with the Chaser. One, the Chaser is surrounded by Onion Knights. You don't want that. Again, that's redundant because we will have already got the Onion Knight with this one. So again, you want the Chaser Trapper times 3. Again, the rest of this stuff is redundant. Death Warden, that's not possible. This is, I think it was possible to actually see the Death Warden on the Veldt in like the Game Boy Advance or something. Kukavi is, this is World of Ruin stuff. This doesn't matter. This solo bomb formation, I don't know if they fixed this or not. I think a commenter on one of my videos said that they may have fixed that. So basically what was happening before was on the Phantom Train, there's a solo bomb, which I do recommend taking. But that was not only appearing up in one of the earlier packs, but it was basically taking or adding the solo bomb to pack 17 as well. But this is supposed to be not added there. You're supposed to be able to add this solo bomb via the bomb forest. It's the same forest that you can run into the grenades. So again, I don't know if they've fixed that or not, but I wanted to at least throw that in there. The bomb times 6, I pass on that. I think that's redundant, and the bombs are just very dangerous, and so I avoid, multiple bombs at any cost. EO and Cancer, that's World of Ruin stuff. Again, largely I think World of Ruin stuff, aside from a very few formations, are just nothing to worry about. Fossil Dragon times 2, that's completely redundant, but the Fossil Dragon and then Bug times 3, this is annoying, and I'm trying not to swear for how annoying that fight is. Fossil Dragons are horrid, and so only take that right before you're ready to transition to World of Ruin. The rest of the stuff is redundant. For pack 19, so this is the stuff around Vector. Pass the Dawn Wyvern times 2. Dawn and then Wyvern Lit War Chicken times 2. Definitely take that, but I would wait until, again, you're ready to do the World of Ruin. Grassworm times 3. Take that prior to World of Ruin. Dawn and Joker. This is completely redundant. Joker times 3. Not a very efficient one, but I still think that it's better because we're getting the Dawn up here anyway, and the Dawn Joker isn't as good, and you're not going to get as much cash, so I take this one. The Lit War Chicken times 5 is redundant. Zombie Dragon is redundant. Zombie Dragon Outcast times 2. This is actually one that you want. This is a sealed cave stuff, and technically that stuff does disappear, so you really want to get that one your first pass through. All right, so pack 20. First, second, and third battles are redundant. So here's the Lich, Provoker, and Antares. I recommend running into these guys in the very, very first room of the sealed cave. That it's a very, very efficient pack. Lich 3 is redundant. Imperial Elite times 3. This is take this at the Imperial Banquet. They're good for these guys drop Magicite shards a lot, so that's a really good pack to take. Balloon 3 and 6 are both redundant, so I don't take those. All right, so here we get into some interesting stuff here. Briareus Chimera, sorry. I would pass on these because this is redundant. The Devourer Briareus, I would take this, but only prior to the World of Ruin. I should say right before, right? When we initially get to the area where the Devourer Briareus is, I recommend passing by them, and I'll explain that as we get a little bit down farther. But again, I would wait until you're ready to go to the World of Ruin. Devourer times 3 is redundant. Adaman Carry, Bonnekan times 2, Adaman Carry times 2, and Bonnekan times 5. These, you might as well just take these. These are the Esper Cave, and it's the best place in the to level in the World of Balance, in my opinion. And you'll probably run into these guys a lot. You could level on the Floating Continent as well, but I don't think it's. I would just rather level here. Mantrake times 3. That's you definitely want to pass that up because it's redundant. All right, so pack 22. This also is where it gets really interesting. So I basically I take now, and I've actually changed my opinion on these two packs because they're related. But pack 22 here, the first and the second battles, I don't take these right away. These are the outer areas of the Esper Cave. And I don't take these until we're ready to actually transition to the World of Ruin. And the reason for that is mostly because the Gigantos. The Gigantos is on the floating continent. It is one of the monsters in a box. The Gigantos always drops the Sakura. And if you avoid these two packs, that means that you'll run into the Gigantos. And the other thing is the Sky Armor ×2 Spitfire. These are the battles just before taking on Ultros and kind of the IAF, Imperial Air Force. And we can actually pass this now because it's redundant. I actually used to take this because for a very brief amount of time, we could glitch espers onto our characters. And the Ninja was a really, really good morph. But that's not possible anymore. So the Ninja ×2 isn't as valuable, and this pack itself isn't as valuable as it used to be. And so I think actually pack 22 is better. So again, I would say this one specifically to just just pass this one and take the Sky Armor Spitfire solo instead. And then once you're down on the ground and on the Veldt, you can farm Gigantos like crazy, and always run into that. So the next stuff, or the next bunch of enemies here, this is mostly floating continent stuff, and most of this stuff is completely redundant. I should say the other benefit to not worrying about this pack anymore is the Ninja ×2 is very rare. It's so crazy rare. But there's just no reason to worry about it now because you can't glitch Ragnarok. Brain Pan Misfit Apocrypha. Do not take this, and I should say, do not take any of the floating continent. Jeez, I'm getting tired. Do not take any of the floating continent encounters on your first trip through. You want to only take the dragon if you want to farm Genji gloves. Genji gloves are very, very easy and much easier to farm on the Veldt. So what you do here again is basically once you do this correctly, again, avoid all of these formations right here. The stuff in pack 23, 24, and then avoid all of this stuff as well. The problem is this takes preparation, right? So Chimera Devourer, that's on the way to the Esper Cave. Same with the Briaris ×2. So you have to kind of know about this stuff beforehand. But then what you can do is, excuse me, when you're on the Veldt, I should say, your first pass through the floating continent, if you only run into dragons, that means that obviously we will have added them to the Veldt. And you can jump down after you're done with the floating continent. Again, as long as you've only run into dragons up here, that can be, I'll admit, a pain in the ass. Excuse my French. It can be a real problem. It's tough. But if you are able to do that, then that means that you can save after pack 3, because then we will know the dragon is going to come up next, right, on the Veldt. So again, you save, run into the fight with the dragon, steal from him. If you only get a high potion, I think he has, in addition to the Genji glove, then you just wipe, right, and then it'll kick you back to your quick save, and then boom, you're ready to fight the dragon again and ready to steal again, and just keep repeating this process until you get Genji gloves if you want them. Again, it is a pain in order to set this up well. But the problem is if you just try to steal on the floating continent, the dragons are really rare. And so, again, it's really about trying to set the Veldt up so that you only run into dragons and thus are able to steal those Genji gloves. So, completely up to you. But after you're all done with the dragon, you're ready to move on, you're ready to get to the World of Ruin, then the battles that you want to take here are all of these here. So Behemoth ×2, Ninja ×2, Platinum Dragon. So this formation up here with the Brain Pan Misfit Apocrypha and the Behemoth ×2, and then the Ninja Platinum Dragon, that gets you all of the stuff on the floating continent in those 3 battles. The Grenade, that's the Bomb Forest. Again, take that, but only after you farm your dragon, right? You don't want to add these to your dragon pack. until you're done. Same with the Chimera Devourer. Again, take that after you're done farming dragon, and then pass on this because this is redundant. So that is mostly the end of the World of Balance. There's still going to be a couple of packs that have some stuff from the World of Balance, but most of the stuff, and again, I'm going to go into the specific packs here, but most of the stuff is pointless, and you don't want to take this stuff. So basically, all of pack 25, you will want to, again, avoid this until your World of Ruin farming is done. And what I mean by that is there's actually going to be quite a few enemies that we add in the World of Ruin in order to farm things really, really efficiently. One of them is the Celestriad, for example. So again, this is just my recommendation. And I'm also, by the way, I'm not going to go into the stuff in the World of Ruin for efficiency. Like Killer Mantis Fafnir might be the most efficient of this pack to get, but I just don't care because, you know, I'm not going to bring up the World of Ruin stuff for efficiency's sake, because there comes a point in the World of Ruin where you don't have to worry about efficiency anymore. And so, you know, it's up to you, or I guess it's your choice on what you want to add after our farming is done, because again, after that point, it just doesn't matter. So, all right, anyways, let's keep going here. So, pack 26 has, I put a note here, this pack has a forced fight in the Burning House, and that's this one down here, so the Zelka Nightwalker. Technically, and I don't recommend this, you could save, if you wanted to cycle your Veldt faster and completely avoid pack 26, you could completely avoid, and I forget the town already now, but basically it's where you get Sabin, right? Because Sabin is holding up the Burning House. You can avoid all this. I don't recommend this, though. I don't think it's worth it just for the couple of, you know, packs that we could avoid. So I just want to throw that out there, though, because it's an option. I just don't think it's a good one. Pack 27, this is another, you know, it's got a couple of battles here that are from the Burning House. And so, again, once you go into the Burning House, there's just no way to avoid this stuff. But here's the Intanger. Basically, this is another, you know, this is a holdover from the World of Balance, and this is another one, though, that I would say take before the World of Ruin transition. Oh, that should say after the dragon. Or after you're done farming. Oh, okay, okay. I put here, take this before the dragon if you want, or, you know, need MP, or after you're done farming the dragon, and that's just so that you can cycle faster. Really up to you. Honestly, yeah, that's a tough one. It's up to you. Intanger is worth a lot of MP, but it's also really difficult to beat. So it's up to you. I would actually say it's probably better to just wait and not grab the Intanger until after you're farming or done farming dragon, if you decide to do that. Nightwalker ×4 is Burning House, and then the rest of this stuff is World of Ruin stuff. So again, I just don't care about this. Pack 28 is interesting because it's got the Cactar. Cactar is a really, really good monster for if you need cash. So that's something, and again, you can actually get the Cactar alone in pack 28 if you avoid the rest of this stuff. So again, up to you. Pack 29, this is all World of Ruin stuff. I put here, avoid this pack to cycle faster. Because again, there's a lot of stuff that's pretty, well, there's a few things that are really good to just have your pack cycle a little bit faster. Pack 30, looks like this is, yeah, this is a pack that you really should probably keep empty as well. So that I put a note here with the Dante, because the morph is a Thunder Shield, but stealing from Stereodite is better. You know, and also, I mean, the Ragnarok Sword is better as well. So honestly, I think that morph is just not as relevant now that we, can't. Jesus, I'm trying to blank here. We can't glitch espers anymore. Tonberries ×3, again, here I put morph items, and you can steal Minerva. You can actually get it to drop Minerva as well, but that's actually a monster in a box, but I don't think that that's worthwhile. There's there's really enough ways to get Minerva outside of worrying about this, and you only need 2 of them. But again, I would say keep pack 30 completely empty until you're done farming. It looks like, holy crap, pack 31, 32, 33. This is all stuff I said to avoid until you're done farming. So this looks like a lot of this stuff is Daryl's Tomb, which, by the way, I highly recommend trying to get through Daryl's Tomb without getting into any of these battles. The monsters there are horrid. They'll either poison you or zombie you or whatever. They're horrible. So again, I would highly recommend not running into any of the random encounters in Daryl's Tomb. You do save state or save and then take a step. If you get into a battle, okay, reset your game. It just sucks. And again, for cycling your packs faster, I highly recommend avoiding all of this stuff. It looks like, so pack 34 as well. It looks like a lot of this stuff is Zozo stuff in the World of Ruin, or the cave up in Zozo. So again, same deal, avoid this stuff. Pack 35, I've got a note here. Some of this stuff, this looks like a lot of the Narsh stuff. Test Rider you can morph these into ice shields with Ragnarok, but it's better to just get them from the Coliseum. You can bet the Falchion, and it's a way better way to generate those. Pack 36, this stuff, a lot of this is still, this stuff is, at least the first 2 packs, is Narsh stuff. Again, I don't worry about this stuff because there'll be a time where none of that stuff matters. But this is Ozer's Mansion stuff, and it depends on how you handle Ozer's Mansion. This actually, you can avoid all of pack 36 if you don't interact with the floating chests. And if you don't walk too close, there's a lady that grabs you and pulls you into a painting. So again, if you want to cycle Veldt faster, you can actually avoid all of pack 36. 37, on the other hand, we are not so lucky. Misty times 2 is a forced battle. These have good steals, and actually you can morph these into ribbons as well. Rafflesia times 3 is one of the best rages in the game. This is very important. You interact with the painting of the flowers on the wall, and again, amazing rage. I forget the name of it, but yeah, it charms your enemy, and there's no way to prevent it, and it's amazing. It's broken, actually. Still Life is a forced battle as well, and you can actually steal a second fake mustache if you want one for Go-Go. The rest of this stuff is all World of Ruin stuff that I don't care about. Again, same thing with pack 38. Avoid all of this stuff. Looks like 39 here. This is where things get a little bit, you gotta be careful. Some of the monsters here in Scion's Soul are missable, like so this is the pack here. I recommend taking Samurai and Al-Jabra. That's missable. You want to get that. Pass on the Pluto armor. I really only highlighted stuff here that's actually missable. Coco Alluring Rider, that's redundant. So looks like this group of stuff here, take all of these. Pluto Armor Schmidt is Scion's Dream and the Caves. Were Dragon Parasite is the first dream area. Same with the Alluring Rider Pandora, that's like the first area. Pass the solo Were Dragon because it's redundant. Coco Samurai Suriander, grab that. I think that's in the Phantom Train portion. And then the rest of this stuff is redundant. Pack 41. Okay, so this gets a little bit interesting because of Brachiosaur, mostly. So pack 41, I kicked around the idea of never running into the Tyrannosaurs and only running into Brachiosaurs, but the amount of time that would take makes it makes it really not great. The problem is Brachiosaurs is a good way and probably the only way for you to get ribbons, and that's a steal. It's up to you, but you can save between these packs and then try to run into pack 41, then steal. That's probably the best way to do this, and not worry too much about trying to keep the 2 Tyrannosaur formations out of pack 41. But it's something I suppose that you could do. The problem is the Brachiosaur itself is just such a rare encounter. But again, you could do that if you really want ribbons and you really want to try to do it as efficiently as you can. You know, again, it's run around in the dinosaur forest until you get into a Brachiosaur, and if you get into Tyrannosaurs, reset your game or wipe. It's up to you. And then once you've got the Brachiosaur, then you can head on over to the Veldt and farm them for ribbons. Again, your choice. I don't know if I can even really recommend that because it's such a pain to run into the Brachiosaur, but that's an option. The rest of the stuff, pass. Again, until you're done farming. It looks like same with Pack 42. I wouldn't bother with anything here until you're done farming. Pack 43. Okay, very, very important. Probably the most important thing that you can do here in the world of Ruin. This is all Phoenix Cave stuff, and there is a way to go through this. And again, I will admit it's kind of a pain, but you can do that, or you can do it, and it's a great way to farm Celestriads. It takes a little bit of work to set up, but once you've done it, in my opinion, it's the best way. The Galapagos actually can be farmed. It is true via the Colosseum. I don't prefer that method. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as this. It's just tougher. And again, so if you put in the time to do this beforehand, again, I think that this is the best way actually to farm the Celestriad. So what you can do is basically the first party that goes in is the party I use with Mog. Mog having the Molulu charm. Then take your other group around the left and have that group go in through the doorway. And then basically that first group that goes into the left does less walking. And so that's why I think that's the better party to take. And hopefully you've got a charm bangle, right? That's going to cut down your random encounters. The Mog group, again, will do much more walking, and so it's better to take him with the Molulu charm. And it, basically what happens is the very end of the cave is where the Galapagos Chaos Dragon ×2 is at. And you want to get this formation, but you want to avoid all the rest. That means that once we get to the Veldt, if we save right here between Pack 42 and 43, we will know that we will run into the Galapagos next, always, every single time. And so you can try to steal, the Celestriad from the Galapagos. And again, that's, in my opinion, the most important aspect, I suppose, of farming the Veldt in the World of Ruin. Celestriads are just amazing. So Pack 44, I don't bother, with until I'm done basically farming Celestriads. Also farming the behemoth suits. Flan ×2 from the Magic Tech area ends up in Pack 45. I think that's the better of the two formations. Flan ×6 is obnoxious. Basically, it starts out with one Flan and then, 2 pop out and then 3. And it's just, in my opinion, better for cycling purposes to grab the Flan ×4 because you can just, use a multi-target attack right away. Boom, it's dead. Pack 46 has the Destroyer Linergia. I take this one because this is just the most efficient, right? There's another pack here, or there's another group here with the Destroyer ×2, and then the Linergia is somewhere else, but definitely take this one. And then that's it for Pack 46. Pack 47 here is the Vector Hound ×2 Commander. I take this in Lock Scenario. That's the basement, which makes the Vector Hound ×2 redundant. And then this is redundant as well because Cartagra is a default rage. Gold Bear Acrophes, you definitely want to take this prior to the World of Ruin transition. I don't take this, on the first pass. I shouldn't say that. This is the South Figaro Cave, and basically the second trip and any subsequent trips after that. The first, trip is a, Foper, whatever, Hornet, Uruk enemies. So again, I would avoid these until you're ready to transition to the World of Ruin, because that way we can keep all of this Pack 48 completely empty. The Dark Side Spectre Uracoat is the it's actually Terra's scenario where the security system is at, and if you touch the light or make a mistake, we can get this formation. These are all junk, though. These rages are garbage. And so, again, in my opinion, you don't take this until you're ready to transition into the World of Ruin. Same with the Valley or Wild Rat times 3. Pack 49 is completely empty. Pack 50, here I said, avoid everything until you're done farming. So again, same deal. This is World of Ruin stuff that we just don't care about. Okay, so Pack 51 is a lot of the Magicka Research Facility. Innocent junk, though. This is, I believe, this is World of Ruin stuff, so we don't care about that. Basically, Proto Armor Onion Knight times 2. You can pass this because it's redundant. I put a note here. Proto Armor appears on the Veldt but has no rage. And then the Proto Armor 2 can be found in the Magitech area but has no Veldt formation. So, again, I would actually, as we're going through, you can actually take the Proto Armor times 2 battle. I run away from them because I'm playing a low or a perfect stats guide. But whenever I run into the Proto Armor times 2, again, I just run away because they don't that formation's not gonna appear on the Veldt, and so I'm not worried about efficiency or anything like that. And also the Onion Knight is redundant. The only thing that I would say that you kind of probably want to do is what you want to do is actually kill one of the Proto Armors. What you want to, well, I should say, you save, then kill one of the Proto Armors, even if you're playing a low perfect stats guide, and then just reset your game. That adds it to the bestiary. And again, since it has no rage, we don't have to worry about getting it on the Veldt. Onion Knight times 5 is completely redundant. Magna Rota times 2. This is the forced minecart battle, so it's the 2nd, 4th, and 5th battle. So, no way around that. You need to take those. Magna Rota times 4. You don't need this battle at all. It's forced, but you need to skip this in a perfect stats game. So, again, don't worry about that one. All right, Templar times 2, Imperial Soldier times 2. That is a forced battle in Sabin's scenario. Balloon times 4. I take this in the Burning House in Themasia. This is the best, in my opinion, balloon battle because of the pack that it appears in. Imperial Soldier times 2. This is a redundant battle. You want to avoid the other soldiers in Cyan's when he's solo at the very beginning there. And then the rest of this stuff is World of Ruin stuff, so I don't care. Pack 53 is interesting here. I put a note. Take the Sergeant in the Magitech facility with the Belzecu. So actually, there is an option here to leave Pack 53 completely empty. I actually kind of recommend doing that. The only thing here is these two enemies. So the Sergeant times 4 is for sure found right outside or right after the Magitech Research Facility. Right after the minecart ride. I don't think that. Well, there's no circumstance where you should take that formation, but the Sergeant by itself is very interesting. So this is one of the battles where the Sergeant is by itself. This is when we're talking to the soldiers prior to the banquet. The thing here is, if you want to keep 53 empty, and again, I kind of recommend doing this now, is to actually to not take the Sergeant. So the problem with doing this is you're going to miss out on the Ward Bangle. But I do think it's worth it to cycle your Veldt faster. But if you're not worried about that and you're okay with taking this, and you do want that Ward Bangle, I completely get it. That'll be Pack 53 for you. 54. Keep Pack 54 empty other than the Behemoth King. That makes it so that you can farm Behemoth suits. Very, very good stuff. These are good bets for the Coliseum. Also, the rest of this stuff, not that important. Actually, I should say Mudset is that what I can't remember. For some reason, that's standing out to me. I don't remember why. But yeah, keep this empty other than the Behemoth King. That'll be the undead version. If you take the Ragnarok Esper, which I don't recommend, you can actually morph him into some really interesting stuff like the Titanium. So Pack 57's got, this is apparently the live version of the Behemoth King. I don't think this actually ever appears on the Veldt. and at least in the Pixel Remaster. So just figured I'd at least throw that out there, though. This is, yeah, again, I don't know if this is like previous versions of the game. You could actually see the live one. I'm just not sure. But lastly, the Holy Dragon here in Pack 1. So this is, I said, it's a great farm for the Holy Lance. You can try to steal that. It's rare, unfortunately, though. And then you can try to morph these. They'll morph into Safety Bit and some other things if you go with the Esper. But again, I don't really recommend doing that. So that is it. So basically, one of the things that I would say is, once you're done with farming, your Holy Dragons, your Behemoth Kings, your Galaptus for the Celestriads, at that point, then you can add the rest of your stuff into, from the World of Ruin into your Veldt formations. The reason for that is it's probably obvious. We want to cycle the Veldt faster to get to those monsters more often. And with less packs, you're going to get to that stuff more often again. So if you really want, like a bunch of Celestriads, again, add them to the Veldt, through via the Phoenix Cave, and then farm the stuff. And then you can worry about the rest of your World of Ruin stuff. But that is pretty much going to be it for this one. I can't believe this took me this long to go through all of these, but that's my recommendations for filling up the packs. Again, I at least have to apologize a little bit about not explaining the more efficient packs for the World of Ruin, but I just don't think it really matters that much, because once we're done farming all of the important stuff, then you can just load up these packs with whatever you want. And then, if you're hunting for specific packs or specific rages for Gao, you always save before, you can still try to get, as efficient as you possibly can, but, you'll save before that pack is about to come up. And then if you get the pack, okay, cool, you're good. And then you just leap right with Gao. If not, you reset your game. So that is it. That is the Final Fantasy VI, or at least I should say my recommendations for pack manipulations for the Veldt. As always, hope the guide was helpful, and hope you join me for more videos. Thanks for watching.